In this video, we're going to be discussing risk and relative risk. Now, risk is just a fancy way of saying probability, but with sort of a negative event. So technically, it's the probability of an event, most commonly a negative one. So normally this is talked about the risk of getting a disease or a risk of failure for an event. So risk is the number of trials in which the event happens over the total number of trials. So this is our typical probability formula. We've got our desired outcomes over total outcomes. Now, when we talk about risk, we talk about relative risk. So this is where we've got things in groups. So for the example we're going to see in a minute, smokers and non-smokers. And it's a comparison of risk between the two. So it's those in the group versus those not in the group. And we write it as a fraction. So if we look at an example, a study looked at the risk of smokers and non-smokers on getting lung cancer. The risk of smokers was 32%, so that is 0.32 as a decimal. And the risk for non-smokers was 14%. So 0.14 as a decimal. Work out the relative risk of smokers compared to non-smokers. So we are looking specifically at the smokers. So if we look at our formula, it's those in the group. So we're looking at smokers, so 0.32, divided by those not in the group, so 0.14. Now, if we put that into a calculator, and we work it out, we're going to get 2 and 2/7. So that's roughly equal to 2.28, 2.29. So the relative risk for smokers is approximately 2.29 times as much as non-smokers. So we write it as kind of a times compared to the other group.